Deshaun Craig.
As long as there's a fire burning in the land of California, people are going to spread the news until it stops. And even when it's done burning, folks are still going to talk about it. The gospel of Jesus Christ ought to be spread the same way. People going out of their way to share the message of love and redemption that has and still is saving them from the fire of judgment. But just like someone who wasn't alarmed about the Thomas fire, someone hasn't been alarmed about the message of salvation, the message of freedom and deliverance. Noticeable places are being avoided, places like liquor stores where they're mostly profiting off cheap liquor, tobacco, and beer. They also profited off the 50-cent honey buns too. But as I go into these liquor stores, for whatever reason, those reasons being for snacks, I know that I'm in there for a greater reason, a greater purpose. And that's because I received the message of salvation. I know I'm accountable for sharing it with someone else so that their life can also be transformed. I'm in there to share this message to the religious man or woman that's behind the counter, not just because they're of another religion, but because I can relate to them searching for God or believing God was in one religion and he wasn't. And as I get to the counter and he asks me how I'm doing, I say I'm blessed, hoping that that would be the door, an opportunity to share the gospel with him. But as I notice he doesn't draw interest in that, I allow myself to become intimidated because I know he's strongly rooted in his religion. I don't share the gospel with him. But see, I'm given another opportunity, as we're given multiple opportunities with the customer that comes in on a day-to-day basis, that I now can realize they only come in for the liquor, possibly because the cares of life have caused them to become depressed and hurt. And I don't share the gospel with them. According to the Christian website, GotQuestions.com, it tells us that we must show compassion to everyone, including those who have made choices that have led them into strongholds. However, we do alcoholics no favor by excusing or justifying their actions. See, Jesus said in Luke 16:13 that we cannot serve two masters. And even in that passage, I know it's talking about money, but the same principle applies to anything that is controlling us in our lives other than God himself. As a Christian, see, we must do everything we can to help people break free from whatever sin or stronghold that they're in or whatever religion that is keeping them bound, through them ultimately and truly surrendering themselves and worshiping God with their whole heart and serving him with their whole heart. But that's not the only thing that is being avoided. Places, people are being avoided, and they're being avoided by their appearance. We get intimidated by their appearance. People like gangbangers and thugs and criminals, because we know they are living a life of violence, and they may not receive the message of salvation the first time it's been presented to them or by us. But only if we would have stepped out and shared it with that group of people or that one individual, they may have stepped forward and said, hey, I believe in what you're telling me, and honestly, I've been looking for a way out of this, and this is all I know, or this is something I've chosen just to fit in. And I can relate to that because I once was one running the streets, affiliated with gang members and possibly labeled as a gang member and hanging around crowds that was intimidating, not myself being intimidated. But as I can vividly remember one individual who asked me, did I know Christ? Although I didn't receive Christ or receive the message he had brought to me of salvation, I still thank him for that because of his boldness. He didn't allow my intimidation or my appearance to intimidate him. But I just wondered how many other Christians, when I was living that lifestyle, walked past me and they allowed my appearance to intimidate them. And they didn't share what was the truth, what had saved them from their sins. And they knew could save me from my sins, but they didn't share it with me. We should be bold and speak and spread the gospel in our workplaces. But we avoid doing it because we don't want to share it with our coworkers or our bosses. Maybe because this boss is a demanding boss, or this coworker likes to joke a lot, so we feel that they may immediately reject the gospel. But only if we would have shared the gospel to that boss may have realized that God had put them in that position. They're just as equal to us, so they should be thankful to be able to point and direct people underneath them. And as I come to an end, In the book of Jude, in the first chapter, the Bible states in verse 23 that we are to snatch people out of the fire of judgment, snatching them out of the fire of judgment, snatching the man or the woman out of the fire of judgment that works at the liquor store or our boss or the gang member on the streets out of the judgment of fire, just as we was once snatched out of the fire. But yet we use the gospel like trail mix, the good news like trail mix, which is something that we should not do when it comes to spreading it to people. Only picking out those things that are attracted to us, those people that are attracted to us, those things being the M&Ms. We go for the M&Ms first because we like that taste. So then we work our way to the peanuts, but we never touch the raisins because they're unattractive to our taste buds. So there's going to be multiple people that are unattractive to us, but we still should go after them. Just like the M&Ms and the peanuts and the raisins came in the same bag, noticeable that they all should be eaten. All people should have an opportunity to hear the gospel and the gospel be spread to them. So let us not avoid the noticeable anymore.